Zepbound maintenance after 106-pound weight loss. We're going to start talking about Zepbound maintenance. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I'm really excited to do a deep dive into maintenance. Many of you guys have asked over the last 2 years of me being on Zepbound and Mounjaro and Tirzepatide compound. And on today's episode, I'm getting kind of close. I'm almost to a healthy weight from my BMI. And so now it's time to start talking about what does maintenance look like for me. Many of you have asked me, and many of you viewers who started at the same time as I am have been on maintenance for quite some time. I'm just slow, and that's okay. Everybody has their own race to run and their own journey to do. And so being on Zepbound 15 milligrams for the last year almost, part of that was Mounjaro 15 milligrams till I switched over because of the shortage, but it's really now getting close. And so I'm starting to think about it, and I wanted to do a deep dive of 3 ways to work maintenance. Of course, always talk with your own healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. I don't pretend to play one on the internet. Simply my experience, strength, and hope of going from morbidly obese now to I'm currently size 14 pants, almost size 12 pants, and a size medium top. I'm literally wearing a size medium dress right now, which feels very weird, but also very awesome from my hard work with GLP-1 medication. So let's dive in. There's 3 things that we can do with maintenance. One, first and foremost, the overarching is always talking with your healthcare provider. 1 is stay at the same dose. Don't change a thing. 2, go to a lower dose, meaning right now, currently, I'm at Zepbound 15 milligrams, dropping that down maybe to 12.5 milligrams. Or 3, spacing the doses in between the current dose that I am, which is Zepbound 15 milligrams, spacing that out instead of being every week, making it every 10 days or whatever. So let's dive into the first one, which is staying the same. And to be honest, I started this one because this is the one I'm leaning towards. I still have to have that conversation with my healthcare provider, but staying the same, except maybe tweaking my calories. Currently, I'm at a calorie deficit of 1,500 calories. I do between 125 to 150 grams of protein per day. Many of you guys had asked too, by the way, they're like, Elizabeth, how are you doing that? I will do an updated what I eat in a day video to kind of deep dive more into that. But my calories, it is hard. I have to be very focused. I mean, full disclosure, very focused on a given day to hit my calorie range. If I am slightly off, I am off, and I'm not hitting that calorie deficit, which therefore leads to not having the weight loss that I'm necessarily looking towards. So to be able to increase my calorie range would make me probably a happier clam. And I also think to make it sustainable, which I always talk about too, of like, how do I do this long term? Me staying at 1,500 calories continuously, that requires focus, effort, me working out, it really requires me on the ball with it. And I don't know if that is sustainable long term. So maybe staying at the same dose, just increasing my calories. Would that look like an extra, not extra, but would it look like 1,600 calories, 1,700 calories per day? And please don't compare your calories to mine. We are all different. I'm almost 6 feet tall. There's a lot that goes into that too. And I don't think that that's fair just to be like, oh, here, this is me and you do the exact same thing. Like, we are totally 2 different human beings. I do have on countessofshopping.com, and I'll link it down in the description link below, as is all my resources I'm going to be talking about today. Click that more button on the description link, a free calorie calculator. There's 3 methods that you can calculate calories with, and so I use one of those 3 methods on my blog post down below. But if you're like, I don't know how many calories to have per day, check out that blog post. Number 2, if you are on a compound, so I have taken compounds before. I've been on Tirzepatide compound. There's semaglutide compound also. And so I'm currently on the pens, the actual like Eli Lilly manufactured pens. But there are compounds of the active ingredients, either Tirzepatide or semaglutide. Tirzepatide, basically, if that's still on the market, it's because of all the lawsuits. Really, I'm going to be talking more about semaglutide compound on that. There is expiration dates with compounds. And so keeping that in mind, if you're doing your injection every 14 days or you're spacing out your injections, keeping that in mind with your compound, that may change things. And so you need to talk to your compound pharmacy. When is the expiration date on those? For mine, I'm trying to remember, because this was like a year ago with the compound. it was pretty quick. After they had made the batch, there was an expiration date on it. It's not like the pens, like this one, for example, and this was from Mounjaro 15 milligrams, which was at least a year ago, because I was on it almost a year mark. When is the expiration date on this one? For example, it was September 13th, 2025. I'm filming this in February 2025, just to give context. So that's quite some time to get to the expiration date. Whereas with compounds, they're mixing that. The compound pharmacy is mixing that. And so there may be expiration dates that may go into this maintenance plan that you need to work out and should think about today. Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200 from your Monopoly game. That may be something to look at your bottle on there when they're formulating it. If you have pre-injected pens versus not, like having that all sorted. Number 3 is staying the same is consistency. And one of the best things for me of staying consistent, like I said, I don't want to do this long term. And one of the best things that I've done to stay consistent and having consistency is having my Gem Bites. These are my daily vitamins. I am completely obsessed with them. I'm literally opening a new pouch. I have them, I have them in my Vuitton at all times. They're always with me because it's just really, really easy to have one of these. They come in these little pouches, but they have in there, oh my gosh, they're so good. They have in there real food. It's real food. You can see, like, literally there's pumpkin seeds in that. For me, figuring out maintenance in conjunction with my Gem Bites, this has been my consistency. My blood panels have been so awesome, and I do attribute that to Gem Bites as a result of having real food. It's more bioavailable than the old pills and the old pills that I used to take for my daily vitamin and powders and things like that. This one, because it's real food, it is more bioavailable, and I continue to use it because of brain health, anti-aging benefits, the gastrointestinal ones, which are so helpful for side effects, because it has prebiotics and probiotics in it. I like the way that I feel on it too. By the way, it tastes like, people are always like, what does it taste like? It's citrus ginger, which I'm obsessed with the taste. Just a little bite on there, real food. They do have other supplements you can do for calm and for energy. Those are also linked down below, completely in the description link below. You can go to dailygem.com/queen, QUEEN, to go ahead and get your discount off of your first month subscription. Please note that if you're FSA, HSA, that there is additional discounts with that too. Linked, obviously double check your own account on that too, but there is additional savings with that on top of the discount code QUEEN. Part of the consistency for me has been Gem, and I am obsessed, highly recommend for my daily vitamin and keeping that consistency. The next level for maintenance to talk about is lowering dose. So as an option, right, in terms of maintenance, I could go from 15 milligrams down to 12.5 milligrams. Would that be a good viable option for me? I don't think so. I think because I have been at the highest dose, I could do that. I could also this is one of the other options on there, which would be like a bonus one, would be just stopping completely and then restarting up. Some of y'all have recommended that too, kind of to jumpstart. There's still a lot of data that's being figured out with the re-jump starting on there. So that's another fourth thing that I do want to mention before I forget, because I know some of you all are going to say, Elizabeth, what about stopping and restarting? I also wouldn't want to stop too long, because then that would change up with my telehealth provider. So keeping that in mind with too long of pauses or lapses or things like that, that can change things up. So lowering my dose could be very much an option. I don't see that being a viable one for me. I like the dose that I'm on. I am on the highest dose. I just don't feel like, I feel like I'm maybe too hungry with that. I wouldn't want to, out of all of the choices, I wouldn't want to mess with that one. That one to me seems like the one that would be hardest to change and modify if there was an issue. And so that's where I'm trying to have the least amount of resistance and the least amount of issues with these two. Next one is days in between my dose. So, oh, here's my little thing going from 15 milligrams once a week to 12.5 milligrams once a week. So keeping the weekly component the same, that was option, the other option I was talking about. If I did, instead of doing every 7 days, changing the day that I had for each shot day. So going from every week, going to every 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, and then seeing how I feel corresponding with each one of those. We do know that the half-life dose for Zepbound is 5 days. And so you have half-life dose at the, did I just say 4 days? I meant to say 5 days, 5 day mark. we know that the half-life dose is at the 5-day mark. So keeping that in mind with the shot dates on there, that is something to think about, because again, everybody is different, and someone making just a blanket across maintenance, I don't think is helpful, because we all have different varying degrees of obesity. And now that Zepbound is also for sleep apnea too, keeping that in mind as well, that we can't, for FDA approval for sleep apnea, in addition to FDA approval for obesity management, and then Mounjaro is the exact same thing, but that's FDA approved for type 2 diabetes. We can't make blanket things across because it's not a blanket for obesity. We're all not the same with that. So keeping these different things in mind, this is why there's so many variables and variations with maintenance, which is why if you're trying to look, you may be like, I just want an answer. Well, it's more than just a basic answer on there too. And this goes over to cost. I don't know why I wrote it so small. Cost, I feel like it should be like cost, like a whisper, cost on there. If you're doing this every 2 weeks, is that better cost savings for you with maintenance? Does that make sense in terms of your insurance or if you're self? And going back over to picking this criteria is another layer of complexity on there. Going back over to cost is also the dreaded dun dun dun, insurance. Many of you are battling with insurance, and it's not a battle that's going away anytime soon. In fact, we're seeing more insurance providers dropping covering Zepbound. Although with the addition now of Zepbound being FDA approved for sleep apnea, that may be a back door for you to go get a sleep study, touch your healthcare provider if you've had sleep issues. In terms of sleep apnea, is that a way to get coverage for you? Just sidebar on that. I've done a whole other full video talking about that. But is that another option for you? But thinking about the cost component is, what does your insurance company say? And I hate that we have to punt to that, but that is what we have to punt to. Just keeping in mind, you should know what your insurance company says in their fine print. Maybe worth a call, worth going on their Formularity website and like seeing the fine print within that. I would go look through that, or even talking to one of your insurance reps, or with like your HR and stuff like that too. That, I don't know if I touch your HR, I take that back. That wouldn't be the right point on it. But nonetheless, the point that I'm trying to get at is figuring out, what does your health insurance tell you? Because they may have dictated terms, honey. They dictate for people to increase their dose. It makes me mental too, by the way. I'm like, why is our insurance company telling us when to go up on the dose? They should not be having, it should be between us and our healthcare provider. Full stop. But that's a battle for another day. But for today's video, I think that it's important you think with the end in mind, to know what your rules, regulations are. And for example, if you went to one of these and you did stop or change the days or any of those, does that change coverage for you? What does that do for your coverage? Which may go back to why dropping your dose may be the most viable option for you in terms of going instead of every couple of days, like prolonging the days every week. That may be a better choice for you because of your insurance. So it's a lot of stuff to think about, in addition to the overarching theme of this is like, okay, what's sustainable? What makes the best sense for you as a patient? I do think it's all about testing and adjusting, because if you go through this and you find that for example, for me, one of my tall tale signs is at night, if I'm starting to eat more and having night snacking come back, immediately for me, that is like a red flag of like, okay, the medication has changed for me in some capacity. And so when I see that happening for myself, that for me was one of my things to increase dose of when I had food chatter, food noise. And also for me in particular with the food chatter, food noise, the behavior was night snacking that came back, of where I know I've done this and been around the block and been in the game long enough to know, like, kitchen's closed around 7 o'clock, that I have no business, like I've had my nutrition for the day. There's no reason to go back to the kitchen. And so that for me would be one of these test and adjust, is if I am night snacking again. Right? Because just because I'm at this is where the other component that I do think I need to share on for my own of I am scared. Like, and I talk about this so I can break it and then get into a healthy mindset. Like, I'd rather it's rumbling in the back of my brain. I'd rather cut it and then move forward with healthy thoughts and get into a healthy mindset and a healthy pattern with it. But the rumblings that are going on in the back of my head are, I've never made it this long of having 2 years of sustainable weight loss. And so I am afraid when I talk about maintenance, which is why I haven't really done this video. that it has been so good for so long that I'll go back to my old patterns and my old, like I'll gain the weight back. Data wise, we know that that's not going to happen. We know that unless I stop the medication, that is not going to happen. I mean, I guess it could feasibly. I mean, anything's possible, but realistically, that would be very hard to do. But I am like, I can even see on my hands right now, I'm like clenching my hands. That's not going to happen because I've worked on making permanent lifestyle changes, mindset changes, physical changes. I lift now. I walk 2 to 6 miles. After this video, I'm literally going to go walk. You know what I have on? Sneakers. I do have a dress on, by the way. I was laughing. My husband was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I have on a dress and sweatpants and my sneakers. And then when I'm done with this video, I'll just go put my workout top on. But I was like, I want to wear my cute size. I fit in the size medium dress. I'm going to wear it, honey. He thought it was so funny, though. But going back to the point at hand, I'm nervous because it scares me because I've never been in maintenance. I have, where I've lost weight and then I've always gained it back. Always. And I don't like to use superlatives, always, which is why this will be the first thing that I move into, of where I've kept the weight off and then I move into maintenance. And so what does that look like? Which is why I go back to, I'm very much kind of hedging towards keeping things somewhat the same, just increasing my calories, just to keep things accountable, to keep things like, I don't want any major changes. I fought hard enough and long enough to get to this particular point. And like I said, I still have, how many more pounds do I have to do? It's near 20. It's probably like, I don't know, 17 or 18 pounds left. So there's still, that's still going to take me a couple of months to get to that point. And so if you're feeling the way that I'm feeling right now, I think it's, one, acknowledge it. 2, talk about it with a trained professional. So I'll be talking with my Avenger. You guys know how I always say, have your Avengers team. Avengers assemble. I have my therapist, and then I also have my like health care provider. So I'll be talking to both of them about this too. And I know that they'll walk me through retraining my brain into healthy patterns with this. This is literally initially like my gut feelings with talking about this, that I feel like if I'm feeling this way, I know that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of you out there that feel just like me. It's one of the best blessings of the Countess of Shopping community is I don't feel like a whack job. I feel very normal. And what I've gone through with morbid obesity has been very, very normal. You're not a whack job and neither am I. And that we're people who are just trying to do the best we possibly can for our health. Not just because that's a diminishing word. We are doing what we possibly can for our health and to do the best that we can with that. And so recognizing that, and that's why I go back to test and adjust, but I don't trust this. I'm like, test and adjust, but I want the full-fledged plan, playbook, rule book, and it's still, the plan, is still getting kind of sorted out. It's still getting sorted out. Now, there's many of you that have come before, and if you're walking maintenance right now, which I know so many of you are, there's thousands of you now that have been in the community, the Countess of Shopping community that are, and I love you so much because I love hearing your experience, strength, and hope, because I'm just not there yet. Not just, that's a diminishing word, rewind that. I'm not there yet, but I will be. And so that is going to change this a little bit because I won't have to be in this continuous lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight mode. And that is also going to require a shifting and a flipping of the switch in my brain too, of moving into this next phase, which is why I'm talking about it now, because I said it will be in a few months. It's going to take my brain, I am slow, like a turtle. And so it's going to take my brain some time to catch up with that. And so that's why I'm saying this now. So I'll have plenty of time down the runway when I do take off for this part to get to that point to have my brain change, which is exciting. This is all amazing, blessing, fabulous, wonderful things. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so incredibly grateful for it. So my beautiful friends, our question of the day is, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? And as we sit in the sunshine, our emoji of the day is going to be a sunshine, a little ball of sunshine that tells me that you made it this far in the video. It also lets me know to pray over you if you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought. I love, love, love seeing your successes. And I also love seeing who stays till the end. I'm always like, who is, it helps me to get to know you better because I do care. And, when you choose to get Gem, go to dailygem.com/queen, QUEEN, to go ahead and take advantage of your extra discount with Gem Bites. Their stuff is fantastic. I love their product, and I love that it's helped me stay so consistent with my Zepbound weight loss journey. So make sure you go to countessofshopping.com down below if you are interested in that direct link on countessofshopping.com. for all things GLP-1 medication, but specifically for that calorie tracker to figure out, okay, how many calories should I be having? That's linked down below, as is the free encouragement group. A ton of free stuff for you too. Your Zepbound tracker, your Zepbound checklist, everything, and a house of marbles included in there. I don't know why I said house of marbles. My kid's playing marbles recently, so there you go. My beautiful friends, I love seeing you on a daily basis. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings, because life is delicious. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button and share this video with your bestie. If you've got a bestie who's on GLP-1 medication, or not even a bestie, just a friend, share this video with them too, so they can also see it as well. I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.